Well, parents, if you have looked at your kids' elementary school math homework, you probably know it looks pretty different than the way that we were taught. And while some parents like the new ways, many are really struggling to get on board. And this morning, we take a look at the learning curve with the parent's guide to handling homework. Parents will tell you elementary school math looks pretty different than it used to.
I'm having a hard time explaining it to my daughter because how I was taught is not how she is being taught.
Looking for help, some families come here to the Sylvan Learning Center in Highlands Ranch.
It's so funny when a parent says, I can't do second grade math.
Ann Smith is the executive director.
A lot of parents are pulling their hair out because they don't understand, number one, why it's being taught any differently than how we learned it, and number two, how this could possibly be teaching their students.
She says years ago we memorized and were taught procedures, and experts believe we may not have understood the real relationship of the numbers or their place value, and that is a goal today. So young kids may initially learn to add by using something called a 10 frame. They learn to see numbers on a scale of 10. For example, 8 plus 6. Well, 8 plus 2 equals 10. Add the remaining 4, and that's 14. Or for subtraction, instead of lining the problem up vertically, your kids could do it like this. They could subtract the hundreds and then the tens and then the ones and then put it all together. And what about multiplication? Well, your kids may learn lattice multiplication as an option, using a grid like this to work out problems like 24 times 39. So 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. You multiply, then add up the lattices row by row by row, and the answer is 936. Now, just looking at this is enough to put some parents over the edge. But Ann says, remember, different schools use different teaching methods. And her bottom line is, like those methods or not, parents should embrace the new ways.
So familiarize yourself with the terminology and the vocabulary, and resist the urge to go back and say, let me just show you how I learned it. It's so much easier, because that's just going to confuse your child.
And that is the trick. Lots of parents are tempted to show their kids how they learned. Now, Colorado does follow Common Core standards, but schools can actually pick their own curriculum, like everyday math or Singapore math, which is called Math in Focus. So check with your school to see what method teachers are using there. And apparently kids do still need to know the traditional algorithms and their math facts, but the teachers are hoping to create good problem solvers as well. Sometimes it comes along with a little frustration for parents.
There was still abacus in the classroom when I was a kid.
All right, and don't forget, tomorrow in our Learning Curve series, we're talking about cursive writing. Now, we all spend hours and hours working on our loops and perfecting our writing, but today's kids, they don't. We're going to tell you why so many schools are not even teaching cursive writing anymore. That's coming up tomorrow.
Tough on parents. Still ahead on Day